Thank you so much for your introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Zahra Hashi, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here with you today. We're witnessing the largest generation of youth in history who are connected to each other like never before. And so young people want to and already are contributing to the resilience of their communities in their own unique and diverse ways, whether they take up roles in politics or become activists to advance sustainable development and advocate for social justice. Today, we'll be discussing this transformation of interest and involvement of youth in critical global topics with our exceptional panelists. Our session will focus on youth inclusion in climate negotiations and their role in climate solutions. My first question is to you, Ineza. I would like to know, in your journey, what value have youth brought to climate negotiations, as well as their solutions to climate challenges?
Thank you so much, Zahal. I don't know if I'm spelling correctly your name, but thank you for your question. So to answer it, I will share the journey that I undertook in being one of the first, or they say the newest climate negotiator from my country who are young people. So the value that we bring to the in the negotiation room, I will start first, is a sense of hope. Because youth around the world, we are not giving up, because we understand that the lack of achieving sustainable development goal, ability to achieve a climate justice world is going to require a hard work, and sometimes is really backed up with a very good, complex set of policies that has been designed a few time back. But when you are in the room as a young person, it's always bring a sense of hope, because you are able to remind your colleagues, other negotiators from other countries, that the future that they're negotiating for is the youth need to be at the center, because we are not, and in some cases, we are not trying to secure our future. We also try to secure our present, because you cannot go in the future if you are not able to live today. So the value that we are bringing is a sense of hope, and also a sense of lived experience, because now youth are much more aware of how the inequality or the access of information, or inequality in coming up with a solution to address climate change impact is happening in their local level. So being able to be present, it also give an opportunity to show, to share a lived experience with the face of humans, or on what really is going to happen if you're not able to be as vigilant and taking action to the good pace that we should be taking, especially in the negotiation room. So that would be how I would answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ineza, so much for your insights. And I really like that answer of us as youth are bringing up hope. We're raising awareness for important topics, but we're not only shedding a negative light to it, we're bringing, really our lived experiences and our solutions, where in every challenge lies an opportunity. Moving on to you, Sälma, I would like to get your perspective on what unique characteristics are youth bringing specifically to the topic of energy transition.
Thank you, Zahra. Thank you very much. So I see youth that are brave, curious, and patient in a certain sense. And I think those are very necessary characteristics for moving action. With youth, we have innovative minds, we have pioneers in their fields, and these people, they deliver a different kind of climate awareness and connectivity with the environment itself. So I see youth do recognize the urgency to act immediately. And in this case, they are also key agents for social change, innovation, and climate action. In recent years, especially, we saw that youth have been increasingly involved in the climate, energy, and sustainable development discourse by contributing to shaping the agenda for tomorrow. With IRENA, we have regularly been engaged with youth through a number of capacity building initiatives, and has been amplifying the voice of youth on energy transformation through Energy Youth Forum, and, for example, also the IRENA Youth Talk. And this has shown us that youth can play an important role in accelerating the global energy transformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sälma, for your contribution to this answer. It is really good as a young person seeing what your organization IRENA is doing, how they're making up the space and inviting you to join the table and these important discussions of both climate negotiations, as well as offering solutions to this energy transformation we're going in locally, but as well as globally. Continuing with you, Sälma, what do you think are the consequences of not engaging youth in climate discussions on the challenges and opportunities of climate change? Where you talked of in your area, there's already progress being happening, but we have in some areas that we're not seeing as much. So in your perspective, what are the consequences of this?
So what we're basically doing, we're building the future. So how can we find appropriate solutions and conduct successful negotiations if the future itself, which is the youth, is not included, basically? So youth have the necessary ideas and perspectives that are essential for global climate actions. And climate negotiations may lack critical information if the voice of youth is not included. So many necessary areas that need to be considered in finding climate solutions would therefore be neglected. And another point would also be that youth representation has to be further amplified. To accelerate action within society, young people around the world must feel represented and addressed when climate issues are discussed. So otherwise, young people may not get the sense of responsibility and they wouldn't feel the need to drive climate action within their community. In this sense, global solutions must follow a holistic approach. And unless all areas are covered, global change cannot be advanced. So in this regard, youth inclusion is a question of integrity.
Thank you, Sälma, for your answer. I liked how you phrased it very well, that we can head towards the future or plan for the future, leaving behind the people that are going to make up, this future. We can't neglect their voice, and we need to really include them. Ineza, what would you like to add to this, or maybe how we can lose as a society if we do not include youth in this narrative?
Thank you so much. So I think for me to answer, I can share first what is the role of the youth in perspective of what I'm doing, because I'm part of the Loss and Damage Youth Coalition, which is a global coalition of youth aiming to increase action to address loss and damage. And we choose to focus on loss and damage because for our generation, the current generation of youth, we are living the climate change impact to an extent that has never been recorded before. And then when you look in the global process of taking climate a solution, no one is talking about loss and damage, because loss and damage is what happened to the limit of adaptation, and to the very mitigation is no longer possible. So considering that loss and damage is the injustice that we are living right now. So if there's going to be a solution to address this inequality, then there's a need to be having youth at the center. And having youth at the center is not should not be in a tokenistic manner, because youth already knows what is going to be working in their community. They have knowledge to share, they have experience. So youth should be valorized as active stakeholders, which we really are, because we have a voice to share and we have a solution to bring on the table. So it's simply what needs to be done is acknowledging our ability to drive action on the ground and really work with us through all the way. Because sometimes you see in this global context we work in, youth are technically included on a very shallow manner, without giving them a true essence of how they are able to translate what they have as an idea solution from their mind into action to really engage in their community. So that would be what I will be adding on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for adding this. You brought up very good 2 points. One of them, which is the climate justice topic. Climate challenges are not affecting everyone equally. The people who are suffering the most are often also the ones who contributed the least to and are witnessing it today. They're not witnessing it tomorrow or in the future. It's happening right now. We need the youth's voice to be the front line, to address their communities' needs and work with us in solutions. And going on with your next question, I'll move on to our final question, which will be answered with both of you, but maybe Ineza, you can start first, which is how you talked about youth are involved. We're seeing a big progress than the past where, youth were not even considered in these topics and conversations and discussions, but today they are with us, but in a very shallow manner, as you mentioned earlier. So how can we do better? How can we better empower and enable youth to effectively participate in climate negotiations and play their rightful role in climate solutions?
Thank you so much. To answer that one, I can use first my country experience because I come from Rwanda, which is a small country located in Africa, but beautiful. You should visit if you have a time. So our policy or government instrument has a way to include youth perspective in the design. And why we have the policy in place, we also have instruments to encourage youth to be actively engaged, because that is how we get to be involved in the climate action sphere. Because I started following the negotiation in 2018, at my first COP, I didn't really understand what I was going to do or why would I be going. But it only took me time to understand that me being there with my team is a way to ensure that my community voices will be represented on the table. So we were able to understand that one because we've been working with our local government institution where they encourage youth to really share their perspective and build their capacity and enhance their ability to follow the negotiation. So that is an example of how our country works. But in other countries, when I speak to other youth, they're saying their main concern is that the institution includes the youth only to have a way to be saying we have a youth inclusion strategy, but there's no real technical instrument that is going to accompany the policy to be implemented with the special focus on how the youth is going to be included. So if we're going to look on a way to better strategize or to better increase youth engagement, there's a need to develop instrument. So that will be on the government or institution side. And then on the youth side, what is needed is to understand that it's okay to not know all the answers or not be the expert fully at our age, because we need to be kind to ourselves because we are growing. But at the same time, we really need to acknowledge that we still can do something for our community, which really be sharing your voice, sharing the story, or being present in the room, or learning a new technology, or connected to fellow youth from other countries. We can still do something if we all know our ability to act, and be kind to ourselves to acknowledge that every small step that we are taking, if it's a small step toward the climate justice world, and it doesn't matter if it have to be big or small. The thing is just we have to move forward in a sense and don't give up.
Thank you so much, Ineza. It's really nice to see the role your government has, how it empowers you, and how they really take you forward to these important discussions where even when you yourself didn't believe in yourself, didn't see that you had a role to play, they believed in you, and now you see this power that you have. And we're seeing this in different countries now that are doing here. There are appointing ministers of youth to really raise the voice that the youth have, because youth are an increasing population, as we talked about earlier in the introduction, and that power will be shaping the future of the countries and later on the global. And I really like the advice that you shared with young people in this sustainability agenda and movement, that we really put compassion for ourselves, but also to the young people around us. We're growing, we're learning, but we also recognize the power that we have, and we have a very important role to go here to each other. It's really nice to see from a government point of view and also from an NGO, maybe from an organization point of view. IRENA, you can put your valuable insight on how we can better empower and enable youth to effectively participate in these negotiations.
Thank you, Zahra. So my response is basically not that much different than what Ineza said. I do believe that youth empowerment is the responsibility of the global community and the youth themselves. So the global community, so to start with, must change the mindset basically with which we view the role of young people. We must recognize and acknowledge the importance and necessity of young voices and listen to them and engage with them. So this also means that we have to refrain from viewing youth as counterparts, but instead look at them as the missing element that is essential for a unified and sustainable development. So generally, it is crucial to show understanding for the concerns of young people and do not underestimate them. Youth need to be empowered in all sectors and fields. So this starts with the education system. So we need to teach and inspire young people to be active and to know their rights to be involved. To teach young people about politics is very important, and to tell them and to teach them about their role in decision-making and solution finding. They need to be equipped with the knowledge, training, and career opportunities to be active. And this message is not only for politicians and governments, but also for international organizations and private sector. All of them need to shift their focus to youth involvement. And as a final message to the global community, it is also very important to promote the already existing opportunities, because I think a lot of young people still are uninformed about the possibilities they have to get involved in climate negotiations. And my final message is basically directed to the youth. So what I learned while working closely with young people is that we have to realize that instead of waiting to be included, we can take responsibility and raise our voices. So small steps do make a big difference, and we can start by inspiring our network, engage in youth activities, volunteer, learn about climate issues, attend courses, and especially use our social media to inform and raise awareness. And as the past has shown us, despite the lack of involvement in climate negotiations, youth have been driving change, and hopefully we will continue to do so. So follow your passion, specialize in your area of interest, and use your skills to raise awareness about climate issues and their solutions. And finally, it is also important for young people to not see any other part of the global community as opponent, because on the contrary, it's like only together we can truly move mountains and change towards a sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sälma, for highlighting really the importance of education, awareness, and being informed as young people as ourselves, and also the very good collaboration effort that we collaborate with each other. We don't see each other as competition. Thank you so much. Now, at the end of our session, I would like to take this time to thank both of our remarkable panelists, Sälma and Ineza, for taking the time to be here with us and discuss this important topic, as well as a big thanks to all of you for investing your time to be here with us today. Thank you.